Targaryens, for most of their reign, ruled Westeros with the might of dragons. But the last dragon died in 153 AC during the reign of King Aegon III, known as Aegon the Younger or the Dragonbane. His son, Prince Daeron Targaryen, would be the first king to rule in the post-dragon era of the Targaryen dynasty. Daeron was only 14 when he inherited the Iron Throne from his father. By this time, the Targaryens still called themselves Lord or Kings of the Seven Kingdoms, but in truth, they only ruled 6. The kingdom or principality of Dorne had remained independent despite numerous attempts at Targaryen invasion. And Daeron, young and ambitious, felt that Dorne represented an unfinished business for the Targaryens, and upon his ascension, he vowed to rectify his ancestors' mistake and conquer it. This plan, however, was rejected by the small council. The hand of the king, Viserys Targaryen, and other counselors reasoned with Daeron that Dorne was impossible to take. Aegon the Conqueror and his sisters had failed twice in Dorne with 3 of the largest dragons, Balerion the Black Dread, Vhagar, and Meraxes. But the king and the realm now had none. But to that, Daeron infamously replied with, quote, "You have a dragon. He stands before you." And the conquest of Dorne began. The campaign showed a great promise. Daeron was careful not to commit the mistakes of the First Dornish War, splitting his army into 3 to stretch out defenses and cut communications from one Dornishman to another. The first army was led by Lord Lionel Tyrell, who marched down the Prince's Pass. A second army was a naval assault by Alan Valerian along the Dornish coast. The third army was led by Daeron himself, traveling right between the Boneway, where the Dornishmen had ambushed Lord Orys Baratheon during the First Dornish War. Dornish usually didn't fight battles with the Targaryens, but rather trapped and ambushed them. But Daeron, learning from Orys Baratheon's mistakes, used goat tracks to avoid traps, allowing him to march through Dorne unbothered. After several battles, the unnamed Prince of Dorne and 2 scores of Dornish lords bent the knee in the submission of Sunspear in 158 AC within a year of the invasion's beginning. Daeron became the first Targaryen king to conquer Dorne and unite all 7 kingdoms for the first time, despite losing 10,000 men in taking the peninsula. It was there that Daeron wrote his famous book called The Conquest of Dorne, a book detailing his achievements, much like Julius Caesar's Commentarii de Bello Gallico, following the Roman Gallic Wars. However, in 159 AC, Daeron left Dorne and took with him 14 Dornish nobles as hostages to King's Landing, leaving Lord Tyrell in charge of Dorne. This, however, was a grave mistake. There was ancient hatred and rivalry between men of the Reach and the Dornish, and soon there was a rebellion.